Elon Musk is a controversial figure. He's a guy who founded SpaceX, the Boring Company. But undoubtedly, the most famous thing he's done is Tesla. It's the biggest thing in the news. Now imagine his position today. The stock is way up. It's pricing Tesla to absolutely explode. And most of Tesla's net worth, most of Elon's worth, is in Tesla stock. So what is he gonna do to keep those profits up? That's exactly where a future scandal may come into play regarding the right to repair Teslas, and for that matter, other electric vehicles. Now, I'm Andrew Esquire, and this is A Legal Mindset. And today, we're gonna break down the right to repair. We're gonna apply that to Tesla specifically, and also more broadly, both to cars and to wider electronics. So let me explain why this is critical and why you've really got to understand this crazy battle that is going on regarding Tesla and regarding all these other companies which are software intense. As you know, in the past, if you had a problem with your car, let's say your F-150, you might go to your local garage. Let's say Bob's Garage. Now, Bob's Garage has nothing to do with Ford. They're not a Ford dealership. They're not authorized by Ford to repair your car. They simply know how to repair Ford cars. But with Tesla and many modern vehicles, they're no longer like these internal combustion engine vehicles. This isn't the 50s or the 60s. In fact, these vehicles are more software than they are hardware. And that's exactly where the complications come in. That's exactly where independent mechanics and repair shops are having trouble going in and repairing these vehicles. And frankly, there aren't many repair shops or locations for these vehicles. But where did this come from? Where did this problem stem from? Let's blame it on Steve Jobs. That's right, Apple. Yes, I know, I've got an Apple iPhone, as do most people. But I understand that the majority of the work on that Apple iPhone is done by Apple itself. Despite the fact that there are independent repair shops out there, despite the fact that there are manuals on the internet on how to fix iPhones, at first, this was something that didn't exist at all, that was very hard to come by. That's because a phone, despite being a piece of hardware, also contains a lot of software. And the legal trick, the legal key here is the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. And if you want to see a deep dive into that, check out my video on radical copyright changes. But as a summary, the DMCA is meant to protect electronics and many things based on the internet, based on code, based on the software from copyright issues, from copyright infringement. And one of the big parts was anti-tampering. Industries had language inserted into the DMCA that specifically barred tampering with software. But in many cases, if you can't tamper with the software, you're unable to fix the hardware. The two are inextricably intertwined. And that is the root of the issue for many industries and repair shops that are attempting to repair pieces of software. So let's say you were to break your iPhone, and the only place you could take it in was the Apple Store. Well then, even if the Apple iPhone had cost you $1,000, they could charge $750 for the repair because they are the only place you could go. That will be the only spot you could go. Because this is so lucrative, because business is so vested in making money off of this, other repair shops opened up, other manuals opened up. iFixYourEye, big company that opened up in response to this pressure. But many of these companies were sued under the DMCA. And many people who attempted to come up with fixes or other ways to correct these problems were served with either legal action, either notices of suit, or takedown notices under the DMCA in an attempt to stifle them. In fact, Apple went as far as to issue proprietary screws and adhesives that only they had in their possession. That's how far these companies went to try to maintain their ability to solely adjust, fix, and repair their products, because they understood it is a highly profitable part of their business. Now, let's flip back over to our boy Elon. Many early adopters have noted that they received fantastic service when their Tesla Model S was under warranty. They received constant calls, they received constant updates asking how they were doing, how the performance was, telling them how they might optimize their use of their Tesla. As those cars have fallen out of warranty, they're being told that it's gonna cost $1,500, $3,000 to fix a tail light, to fix a door handle. Minor issues are stacking up in terms of cost. And the issue is that there aren't many places that are able to fix that Tesla, because so much of it, once again, is software. And they've only authorized certain retailers as authorized Tesla retailers. Where does that leave you? That leaves you in a situation where if these companies continue to proliferate, and for example, in California, where they've passed legislation to essentially phase out internal combustion engines in favor of hybrid or electric vehicles, where we're going to see more and more of these vehicles on the road. And companies will have more and more of an opportunity to increase their potential charges for those repairs. And that's why this battle is so important. Now, there's two things that governments could do to fix the problem. Number one, there could be a change to the DMCA. And as I've talked about in my previous video, there are many big changes that need to be made to the DMCA to really update it with modern realities. The second is states or the federal government could pass a Right to Repair Act, which would require that dealers and manufacturers, whether of electronics like iPhones or cars like a Tesla, share their specifications and manuals with dealerships. And in fact, in the past, when Massachusetts passed a Right to Repair Act related to cars, dealerships agreed to share their specifications. Now, at first, dealerships had security concerns, but through specifics in the legislation, they were able to address those specific concerns. The same can be said for code. The same can be said for manuals on how to fix not just household electronics, but also things like cars. And it's important to know that even things that we thought of as machines, like tractors, are increasingly run by software, not hardware. And this impacts a huge part of our economy. In fact, individuals might not be able to just go out and become a mechanic anymore, but would have to go specifically to a dealership to be trained to service those vehicles. And that would have a massive impact on the secondary market for not just vehicles, but many parts of our economy. So stay tuned in this battle as you see us going forward. And if you want to learn way more about this, check out that video once again on radical copyright changes, because it pertains exactly to this battle we're fighting today. But until then, this episode is adjourned.